at retireinstitute.com. That's our homepage. We do a weekly blog. So every Wednesday it will come out. And one of the ones we've written pretty recently is these 4 motivations behind a federal retirement decision. And that was one of the things in this particular article. So you're looking at, a couple of things, circumstances. Sometimes I've talked with some people and they weren't necessarily ready to retire, but a parent got really sick and needed some help. One lady I talked to, her daughter was going to go back to work and she wanted to take care of the granddaughter. So she was going to leave a little bit earlier than expected. So I think sometimes, making sure that you've had a plan, then you can leave based on whatever circumstances come your way.
I want to just read this planning tip because this is so critical at the first one here. Try living on a retirement budget today. This can help you gain the confidence needed to retire if you had to. That's a no-brainer. Build your budget today. Build your retirement budget. Live on that number if it's different than your current budget. And if you can do that for a few months, retire at will. If you can't, then you keep working.
It was a couple of years ago where I heard someone mention that they were going to be doing this, living off of their retirement income, and I thought it was incredible. In retirement, there's so many different aspects. You have, the money, obviously, and the planning, and then you have the emotional aspects. It's like any other big event that you're going to go through in your life, getting married, having a baby, having never coming, all of those sorts of things are life changes, and that's what this is. I had a very minor, trial run of retirement when my husband retired from the military. And, it was somewhat unexpected. It was an early retirement. Wasn't exactly what we were planning for, and kind of uprooted the family, a little bit. I was a stay-at-home mom and got a job and went back to work. And even though he's working now, and we're obviously not at retirement age, it was a big transition for us. And I would definitely say anticipate, that there is going to be a change. So by doing something as simple as this, financially feeling it out, and day to day living off of what you will be living off of, that kind of takes one of the stressors right off your list. Brandon has actually a really good story of a lady who knew when she was ready. I love this story.
Oh, yeah. So we worked with her for several years, building budget, crunching calculations of what the pension's going to be. Retired her husband even, and it was a couple of years after he retired. I mean, the numbers worked long before this point, but she recounts the story that at about 2 o'clock in the morning, she woke up in tears, and she said, it's time. It's time. And he's like, time for what, baby? And she said, I'm ready to retire. He said, we can't do this in the middle of the night. Can you roll back over and let's wake up in the morning and we'll talk about it? But it was that powerful for her that it was time. And she woke up the next morning and said, this is it. And they went forward with the paperwork, and everything worked out. So the key to that is get your financial house in order. Check that box. Just because you say, okay, I can retire, doesn't mean you should retire, right? There's 2 decisions that you're making. Decision number 1 is financially being ready, and decision number 2 is emotionally being ready. And allow those 2 to be considered separate, so you're not freezing up and not handling the financial piece, waiting on that emotional moment. Go ahead and get the financial piece in order, and the other one will work itself out. So, great story though. They're very successful. They traveled 14 trips their first year. I was talking to them the other day, and that's been 3 or 4 years now she retired. I was talking to them the other day, and this year they're actually going on a retirement trip or a trip somewhere every other week. That's their goal. So they're
oh my gosh,
loving
I had no idea. That's awesome.